Hello folks, this is Sula speaking. You're listening to another video for Teamfight Tactics. This is some footage taken from a double-up game I'm playing together with Headwinder. We are playing on the release date for set 15, though this will be up on YouTube a little bit after that. In this game we're going to be looking at one of the big vertical team compositions that was very strong on the initial release of set 15, that being the Soul Fighter team composition. There were a couple different things that were really strong when the set first came out. Soul Fighters were strong. Four Mentors was another build that was really strong. There's a decent chance that some of this stuff will get B-patched, but at least as I'm recording this, we don't know if that's going to happen. And in this game, I just got a good setup to play the Soul Fighter setup, and the game went really well. So we're going to put this footage on, talk a little bit about what this team composition looks like, what it plays into, and go from there. Now, I ended up getting a Xin Zhao to drop from the first minion round. So, Xin Zhao is one of the Soul Fighter units, and like at least based on what I had right now, it didn't necessarily look like it was going to be a great game to play this particular setup. But Headwinder said that he was hitting some early crew units, and I also had some early crew units here. Crew being a reroll team composition that wants to reroll for Sivir and Malphite, and then pick up some other units as time goes along. So we decided he was going to reroll for crew, and I was going to end up playing the Soul Fighter setup. So at the moment, I have a Xin Zhao and a Callista, and I'm going to be mostly looking to play through the Callista early on. Now I get another Callista, and I believe I get a third Callista from Headwinder to make the 2-star unit, if I remember correctly. And I'm going to be grabbing Sivirs and Malphites for his board. I actually need another unit to put on the board, but I haven't quite managed to hit that yet. Oh, he has some Nefiris, that's right. He sent me a Nefiri so I could get another Soul Fighter in on the board. All right, so yeah, we had pretty much decided on what our team competitions were going to be, and now I need to see if I can get some items that are going to make sense on Callista, who's the main early game carry for a Soul Fighter board. And I get that sword there. We also do have a Twisted Fate encounter, which means we got those component anvils. And oh, what's this? First augment is Prismatic. So I was looking at the different options here, and I was like, I think I want the Prismatic Destiny. It's going to give me a random Prismatic augment and 8 gold. Now, maybe I'll get something that's really poorly suited to my setup, but like the 8 gold is extremely valuable here in the early game. And I didn't see anything else that was especially well suited to me. So I was like, all right, I'm just going to take this. I get the 8 extra gold, and it gives me Pandora's items. Now, I've said before, I don't especially love Pandora's items as a Radiant choice. I tend to like Pandora's items much more when you can get it as a silver or a gold augment, especially if you can get it as a silver augment, because it does the same thing. It rerolls your items. The one thing that you get as the prismatic version is you get a radiant item. Now, I've gotten Radiant Archangel Staff, which is not what I want, so I'm just going to let that reroll, and hopefully it'll pick up something better in the relatively near future. But that 8 gold did wonders for my economy. It gets me up to 10 gold immediately, which is super nice because I'm sitting on some extra gold here. Like I've been buying all these crew units to send over to Headwinder, which is going to impact my economy. So it's not bad at all that I was able to get that extra gold. And in fact, Headwinder took the same thing. He also took a random prismatic augment. I believe he got a Bastion Crown. So, yeah, I think he's got the Bastion emblem over there. I believe that's what he got. But I'm also going to pick up a little bit more gold here because I've given Callista the power-up that causes her to execute enemies and have a chance to drop gold when that happens there. Now, I've got a Radiant Blue buff, but that's also not the item I'm especially looking for right now. And we're just waiting one more round until I'm going to send the Malphite over there, and we're waiting one more round until Headwinder can send the Callista back over to me. So I'm going to let that Radiant Blue buff continue re-rolling. I'd be okay with a tank item as well, but I don't especially want an AP item, because Soul Fighter is not really a team composition that plays into magic damage. It mostly plays into physical damage. Okay, so what does this trait do? It's the trait that's featured in this video. My past self was hopefully highlighting it for a minute there. It has a couple different things it does. It kind of has like a base function, and then it has a little bit of a scaling function. The base function is it gives all of your units some flat health. The deeper you, well, all your Soul Fighter units, the deeper you play into the trait, the more health that you end up getting from like the flat benefit. In addition to that, as I said, there's kind of a stacking benefit. It gives AD and AP per second. For each second of the fight, it gives more AD and AP. Again, you get more as you play deeper into the trait. After 8 stacks, which I believe is 8 seconds into the fight, after 8 stacks, then your units deal bonus true damage. By the way, we get Radiant Crown Guard. Again, not terrible, but it's not quite what I want. I'm still going to let this keep rerolling. I'm kind of down the value of a prismatic augment right now because I like the big benefit you get from prismatic Pandora's items is you get a radiant item out of it, but I'm not using it right now, so kind of down a prismatic augment. But I did get that 8 gold, and look, now I'm level 4, 24 gold here, which is a lot of money. That 8 gold does so much to accelerate your econ, and I think the Callista's printed me another 2 or 3 gold so far. Okay, but getting back to the Soul Fighter thing, as I said, flat health for all of your Soul Fighter units. And in addition to that, they stack up they get additional AD and AP every second of the fight as Callista one-shots the Kale in the back. Good job, Callista. And then after those 8 seconds are up, they deal bonus true damage. You can actually see in the little number pop-ups right now, you're seeing the white text, which is the true damage, in addition to the red text, which is the physical damage being done. So I actually managed to win all 3 of those rounds, which is a little bit of a surprise. I think I needed Headwinder's help to get some of them. But yeah, it's certainly a pretty good start here, and my economy is off to an amazing start, which is good because Soul Fighter plays a lot of late game units. This is one of the big scaling traits in the set. It is a big vertical. There are 8 Soul Fighter units, and you actually can play the maxed out trait, which is Soul Fighter 8, without having to get an emblem, which is always nice when you have a setup like that. However, it does require you to find a 5-cost unit. And by the way, I'm going to try to take the Xinjiao here because that'll give me 2 out of 3 Xinjiaos, and it'll also give me another belt, which I'm happy to use for a Warmogs, which is a very good early game tank item. All right, I'm also going to have the Radiant item reroll again. It's Radiant Void Staff, not a bad item at all if you're going the spellcasting route, but I am not going the spellcasting route in this game. And then I also see a Lux pops up in my shop. Lux is Soul Fighter Sorcerer, so I'm like, all right, I will double level. I want a modest win streak here. I'll put that in because it takes me up to 4 Soul Fighters, and that's actually a pretty big boost to my damage, going from the 2 Soul Fighter to the 4 Soul Fighter. And then I'll actually take the Rel off the board. She was giving Bastion trait for Xinjiao, but I'm playing through the Callista right now, so I'm going to put Executioner trait in because I want to play through my strongest unit, and Callista is Soul Fighter Executioner. Her ability is she has a relatively high mana cost, but when it's completely full, she will toss a spear across the board. If it kills the target, it'll pass through and hit the next target in line. She actually killed 2 targets with that spear, so I'm hoping I can win this round. If Callista gets off another spear, I can potentially win this. Come on, Callista. Oh, she died just before she got the cast off. So I end up losing that round, but it actually makes sense. That board took a prismatic augment that takes them to level 6 immediately at the start of the game. So they went straight to level 6, and I almost beat that with my board. Now, you would think I would want to just pick up the Sivir here. The problem is if I grab the Sivir, it will combine into a 2-star Sivir, and then I won't be able to send over to Headwinder, because the double up sends only allow you to send 1-star units now. So I have to send off the Sivir, and then I can buy another one. But I'm hitting a lot of Sivirs here. Too bad I'm not hitting on my Radiant item. I've got Radiant Adaptive Helm. Again, not a bad item, but not quite what I'm looking for. I'm kind of looking for either a really good tank item or an item that can go on Samira, who's the main carry for this comp later on. Okay, as I was saying, so Soul Fighter has 8 units. It has 2 1 costs, that's Neferi and Callista. It has 2 2 costs, that's Xinjiao and Lux. I have all 4 of those units in. Then it has a 3 cost unit, which is Viego, 2 4 cost units, Samira and Set. And then on top of that, it also has a 5 cost unit in Gwen. Getting a Soul Fighter emblem is super nice because then you can play the 8 Soul Fighters without having to find Gwen, who of course is a 5 cost, is a difficult unit to find. But it does not require hitting an emblem. So, and there's another Xinjiao coming over from Headwinder. Once again, Jeweled Gauntlet, not quite what I'm looking for, so I will continue to pass. I'm being very selective on my items here. That would actually be a great item on Gwen, but Gwen's going to show up so late that I'm trying to get an item that's going to be valuable for that. Like, I could put it on Lux, but Lux is mostly in there as a trait bot. So 1-1, 2-2, 3, 4-4, and 5. It's a very straightforward team composition to play. In part because it has some internal synergies to the trait, which is pretty nice. There are actually 2 Juggernauts in the Soul Fighter build. Neferi is Soul Fighter Juggernaut, and then Set is also Soul Fighter Juggernaut. And there's also 2 Sorks in the build as well. By the way, we get Radiant Edge of Night, which I am continuing still to pass on, being super selective here. It wouldn't be a terrible item on Samira, but I think I can find something better. So, like I said, you have double Soul Fighter Juggernaut, and then you also have double Soul Fighter Sorcerer. Lux has Sorcerer, And then Gwen later on has Sorcerer as well. So it's a very straightforward vertical trait. Very easy to play. For whatever reason, the set has come out with this being like an overtuned trait. But because it's so straightforward, like a ton of people are playing it in every lobby. But because it has 2 4 costs and a 5 cost, it's really not a reroll trait. There are some builds I've seen where people have tried to reroll Callista and Nefiri. I think we did that on the PvE, and it actually wasn't terrible. But it's just hard to do because you really want to get to your 4 and 5 cost units. Soul Fighter 8 is, at least in this patch, very strong because once you have, it gives everybody on all the Soul Fighters, I think it's 700 bonus health. And then the stacking benefit after 8 seconds is, I think you do 30% bonus true damage, which is like a lot. That's a pretty crazy amount. Anyway, time for a second augment. It is Prismatic again. I'm looking at the different options here, and I'm like, Prismatic Pipeline sounds fine. The next non-player combat round, I'll drop a Prismatic Orb. I'm hesitant to take this if I'm in a position where like I'm losing rounds, but if you're winning rounds, and you can delay the benefit for because I'm not going to get anything from this for the next 5 rounds or whatever. If you're in a position where you're winning rounds, it's usually worthwhile to go ahead and grab this. There is the potential to get emblems from this, and Soul Fighter is a craftable emblem. I thought about doing Dragon's Claw. I was like, okay, I'll do Dragon's Claw here. I actually, because I have Pandora's items, I wouldn't mind doing like the perfect tank combo, which is Warmogs plus Dragon's Claw plus Bramble Vest. Gives you like insane tank stats. I wouldn't mind making that. But in addition to that, I might be able to make a Soul Fighter emblem, which would be awesome. Then I could play 8 Soul Fighters without finding Gwen. I don't remember the exact recipe, but I know if you get a spatula, it's makeable. And with Pandora's items, it's extremely easy to make whatever emblem you want. You can, if you get a spatula, you can re-roll it into a frying pan. If you get a frying pan, you can re-roll it into a spatula. And the components will reroll, so you can easily get whatever one you want. Speaking of which, I finally did get the Radiant item I wanted. I got a Radiant Infinity Edge. I was like, ooh, Radiant Infinity Edge. Yeah, I'm down for that. Now, I don't need double Infinity. And by the way, I continue to get more Sivers here. Look at all these Sivers I keep hitting. It's making it very easy for Headwinder to hit his crew boards. He actually just hit the 3-star Siver, so I don't need to play that. And I'll just swap out the Katarina for a Senna, who's a better Executioner. I actually could have played both of them. Executioner is a 2, 3, 4, 5 trait. I've also picked up a Viego, but there's not really much point in putting Viego on the board. And I actually get another Viego coming over from Headwinder. But there's not much point in playing Viego until I can get up to 6 Soul Fighter. I'd rather keep the 2-star Rel in there for more frontline, and then put the Senna on the board for a Executioner trait. Like, going to Soul Fighter 5 doesn't really do anything. Meanwhile, Headwinder has hit his 3-star Siver. He's won off the Malphite. He had good luck finding these units. I've had good luck finding these units. He has the Prismatic reroll trait, so he gets like a billion free rerolls. Our game's going really well. I believe that Headwinder, I'm not sure if Headwinder's even lost a round. I think maybe he lost 1 round. But I've only lost 1 round the entire game, and that was against that board that started out at level 6. I'm getting a lot of executes here on the part of the Callista. It looks like with the reinforcement, I'm not able to win this round. But that was someone who was level 6, 0 gold. Like, they were level 6, they rolled all the way down to 0 gold. And I have taken the Prismatic Pipeline, which isn't even giving me any benefit yet. And it looks like Headwinder lost that round as well. But we're still both in fantastic shape here. Because I have Pandora's items, I can pretty much take anything off the carousel here. Like, the item itself doesn't really matter. It's more, is there a champion here? There's no Samira, there's no Set, so I don't care about getting those particular, there's no, like, champion I want here. So I was like, I think I'll just take the Jarvan, and he's a 4-cost unit. Sounds good to me. I wouldn't mind having a tier or 2, because Spear of Shojin's a pretty good item to make on Samira, but if not, I can always just let this reroll into something else as well. And hey, Jarvan's going to sell for 4 gold, so I'm pretty content with that. Now we have the first gift round, which is going over to Headwinder. He can get a 3-star 1-cost champ or a completed item anvil. 3-star 1-cost champ does not really make sense for his board, so I think he's just going to take the completed item anvil. And sure enough, and then I will get the gift round on the next round. Out of these set up here, I think I went ahead and leveled to 7 because I had so much extra gold here. Again, our economy has just been like so accelerated from taking that the 8 extra gold from the random Prismatic Augment. And I'm getting another big surge of gold on the next minion round when that Prismatic Pipeline cashes in. So I do have to consider, do I want to hold on to this tier? If I don't assign it to anyone, it's going to get re-rolled. I think that I can't remember if I let it re-roll or if I stopped here. But I'm just in great shape right now. We lost a couple rounds, but we're still on 86 health, and the Callista's been printing gold like crazy. Callista is gated by having high mana cost. It would be better if, instead of the double Infinity Edges, it would be better if she had like a Spear of Shojin and then the Radiant Infinity Edge and then the extra Infinity Edge left over. But like when she actually gets her cast off with double IEs, her ult guaranteed to crit, and it's hitting for like 2,500 damage. Plus, she's getting the gold drops a lot of the time. Like, look, there's another gold coin she just farmed me. So I've been printing an extra gold or coin or two every round anyway. Also, it looks like Headwinder's on a big run of Rels over there. We have the send up again, but I don't have anything to send him. And now we have the power up coming in. I've had Callista running power up. The logical person to put this next power... I'm going to get 2 more components here. So I'll make the chain vest, and then I decided I would wait to see if I could get another vest to make the bramble vest for perfect tank items. So Xin Zhao's the obvious one to put the power up on. And let's see, out of these options, I'm like, it's probably Living Wall here. Gain more armor and MR. And then back row enemy allies get additional attack speed. I mean, again, we're basically just econing here. The question is, do I want to save any of these components on my bench to keep them from re-rolling again? And I was trying to decide if I wanted to do that or not. I think I left them alone. Oh, no, never mind. I decided I'd save the bow. I think because I was going to try to make a red buff. It's actually a very good Gwen item. She's quite good at applying it. So I think I just stuffed it on the Viego for right now with the intention that that would come off the board later on. This was, again, played on the first day of the set, so there's definitely people who have not played set 15 before. It's a very overwhelming set the first time you play it. So, like, this person hasn't even picked up their power snack and assigned it because they're probably just a little overwhelmed as far as what's going on. And, like, we're pretty easily cutting through these boards and just econing up. Looks like Headwinder now has the... Headwinder's finally going to lose another round here. Again, just someone who's level 6-0 gold, so they're going to get outscaled really badly. And, oh, look at this shop. I hit the set. Let's go. So I will just want to put the set on the board. I can take something out. It's probably taking out the Rel. I think I decided I would wait. No, I definitely don't want to take out the Neferi because I get Juggernaut trait by playing both of them. I like how I'm having this conversation with myself. Yeah, that person who's been winning rounds has a... they're going for 3-star Viego, which is not terrible by any means, but we think we can outscale it. Because again, they're level 6-0 gold. They're not managing their economy properly. Out of these items here, there is my prismatic pipeline. I'm going to stuff the sword on a Kate so it won't re-roll because I want to hold on to that sword. Did we get an emblem? No, but I got a ridiculous amount of gold, and I got a masterwork upgrade, so I can convert a unit. Anyway, I can send the Shen over there to Headwinder. I can convert an item into a radiant item, so we'll go ahead and do that. Let's get the Neferi back on the board. I'm trying to remember who, and then I've got this extra Spear of Shojin. So I'm going to move my tank items right now over to the set. There we go. Now we've got the 6 Soul Fighters coming in. Move these tank items over, and I'm going to get another set coming over from Headwinder. So now I'm on set pair, and I need to move the power up from Xin Zhao over to Set, because Set is going to take over as my main tank. Xin Zhao's actually been great. He's been really strong all throughout the early game, but it is going to be time to move into a better tank unit. And Set is a 4-cost Juggernaut. Xin Zhao is a 2-cost Bastion, so he's just a better tank unit overall. Set's ability is when his mana bar fills up, he heals for a percentage of his max HP, and then he like punches forward and deals some additional damage. But because he heals for a percentage of his max HP, that makes the Warmogs a pretty good item on him. All right, time for our last augment here. And I'm looking, I'm like, all right, I'm not even going to look at these. I'm just going to take the Tactician's Crown. I could have taken another Masterwork upgrade, but I already am going to have 2 Radiant items. I don't think I need even more Radiant items than that. Let's just add +1 to the team size and go from there. So I want to make sure I put that Shoujo on someone up. I find an early Braum. I'll play that if I can get it on the board. And then Samira's on here. So let's play Braum. And then we're going to start moving items over to the Samira. I want to get, let's see, Shojin and Radiant IE, and then the whatchamacallit, the Last Whisper. These are very good Samira items. I'm putting items that are mostly going to go on Gwen onto the Viego just to hold them for right now, and then we're going to upgrade the Spear of Shojin into the Radiant Spear of Shojin. So Samira's going to have double Radiant items, and then I'm looking at this, and I'm like, let's take the damage amp and damage reduction increase for each player that gets eliminated. Alrighty, so Samira has double radiant items. Yeah, she's going to be hitting really, really hard, and I can still make her a lot stronger. So how does her ability work? Well, basically, she has a very low mana cost. I believe her mana cost is 15. And one reason why Spear of Shojin's really nice on her is it means every time she autos, she's going to get one of those casts off. So she has very low mana cost. Each time that she casts, she will stack up one of those letters. I think it starts at like D and then it goes to C, B, A. And then when she gets to the final one, she gets kind of like her big time cast, which causes her to like jump into the middle of the enemy board and like fire projectiles in every direction. It's basically her ult from normal League of Legends. That said, Samira does gain Omnivamp every single time she gains one of those stacks, so she will heal for some of the damage that she deals, which is why you don't really need to put like a healing item on her, because she gets Omnivamp naturally anyway from her ability. So she's okay with like the items I have here. By the way, this is the other person playing Soul Fighters in the lobby. Again, this is the person who's re-rolling for the Viego, and they put a radiant item on that Viego. So the Viego is quite strong right now. And if they hit Viego 3-star, it's going to be pretty good. But like again, that person's level 7, 0 gold. And we even managed to beat the board anyway with Headwinder's help. I am just going to look to go to level 9 right now because I need to find Gwen to get the 8 Soul Fighters in, and my odds to find her are much, much better on level 9 than they are on level 8. Plus, I've got just like a billion gold from... I got all that gold from... I got the 8 gold to accelerate my economy from the first augment. And then, Callista was getting executes all throughout the early game to give me more econ. And then the Prismatic Pipeline gave me like 30 gold and a Masterwork upgrade. So I am just like super duper rich here. And I should be able to go level 9 probably at the beginning of stage 5. So like, why the heck not? I've also gotten that +1 team size because I got the Tactician's Crown from my last augment. That allowed me to put an extra Braum on the board. I also have a Zyra on the board right now as well. I finally remember to move the power up off the Xinjiao. So I'm going to take the Tankzilla here. Gain health after 15 seconds, stun all enemies. Or I believe I take that one. Is that the one I took? Yeah, it's a really good fit on Set because he heals for percentage of his max health anyway. There is the red buff I'm trying to make for Gwen. So we're going to hold on to that. And as I said, I have multiple additional 5 costs on my board. I've got the Braum on my board who makes Bastion trade. He's a 5 cost. I have a random Zyra on my board. She is another 5 cost. And her traits don't fit my board at all, but Zyra has an ability when she casts, she gives the whole team an attack speed bonus for the next, I think it's like the next 5 seconds or something. By the way, look at that Samira ult. Oh my god, did she do damage. That's a 1-star Samira. Jesus. But anyway, Zyra's a useful utility unit to play because she gives the whole rest of the team attack speed after she casts. And her plants deal some additional damage as well. Looks like Headwinder's getting close on the Ziggs. I think he's on 8 Ziggs. I haven't had as much luck finding the Ziggs, but I certainly found enough Sivers early on. And yeah, we're just econing here. Very calm, very peaceful. By the way, one mistake I made, I should have had the Samira in the back row. It's not as important now because I changed the power-up. As you see, Headwinder hit 3-star Sigs. But I previously was running a power-up where Xinjiao was giving the back row more attack speed. And I actually didn't have Samira in the back row to take advantage of that. But no worries. It doesn't end up mattering. I'm no longer running that power-up anymore. And Samira moves around in the fights anyway because she does a little jump every single time that she casts. So it doesn't really matter that much where I put her to start the fight. She's going to move around on her own anyway. But yeah, she is going to cast basically on like every auto attack. I guess she needs 2 autos, it looks like. But she still casts super duper fast, and yeah, you get the idea. She just jumps in the middle of the enemy team, and boom, 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 they all go down. And it's not especially close. That's with a 1-star Samira. I also do not have Samira's other trait in. Her other trait, aside from Soul Fighter, is Edgelord. And I'm going to try to get that trait as well. The unit I want to play is Yone, who's another 5-cost unit who has Edgelord and Mech traits, and that's a trait I want to look to play as well. Also, don't forget my power-up gives Samira additional damage amp for every player that gets eliminated. So the more this lobby swings in terms of other players getting eliminated, the stronger she's going to get. And all right, there's another Braum. Okay, sure, we'll hold on to that unit. And I think I just stuffed another Zyra on the board for right now. I am looking for Twisted Fates for Headwinder's board because Twisted Fate is the 5-cost crew unit, which is what Headwinder wants to cap out his board. But mostly I'm looking for Gwen. I'm looking for 2-star Set. I'm looking for 2-star Samira. I'm looking for Yone. Like I can play a lot of 4 and 5 cost units on this board, like an awful lot of 4 and 5 cost units. I also get a Thief's Glove. I don't want to lose that. I don't want that to reroll. So I'm gonna stick it on Braum, and there we go. There is the Gwen. So let's try to get her on the board. That puts 8 Soul Fighters in, so that's very nice. I'll go ahead and make there's another Gwen. I'll hold that. And I guess I should have picked up the Nefiri because I am on Nefiri 1-star for what that matters. All right, there's another Samira. I was rolling down here. There's the 2-star Braum. Okay, I'm fine with having a Thief's Glove on a 2-star Braum. That gives me a lot more frontline. There's a TF, so that's going to go over to Headwinder. And I still need to hit one more Samira. I hit 2-star Zyra randomly. I was like, okay. But I'm still on Samira pair. I'm still on Set pair. Oh, no, I actually only have one Samira. I don't even have... Oh, no, I am on Samira pair. I have Set pair, I have Viego pair, I have Gwen pair, I have Samira pair. Like, there's a lot of units here that can allow me to get stronger. So I need to keep rolling here for sure. I think I asked Headwinder to send me the Samira because I just hadn't hit that unit. And she does have multiple Radiant items, so I need her to be 2-starred. Oh, I was also trying to save this belt here. I was trying to make an item out of the belt. I think I was trying to make Morello's for the Gwen, because that's a pretty good Gwen item. All right, and I'm going to take the time to move this stuff around. Headwinder wanted that, what do you call it, the artifact item, so he's going to get that. There's another TF, but there's no point in holding multiple TFs because the game's not going to last long enough for us to get another send. I will start moving some of these units around, or some of these items around. There's yet another TF. It's like, oh, can I find the Gwen? So no, I don't find the Gwen. I don't find the Samira. But again, this is the 2-player mode. Thankfully, Headwinder has my back. We're going to pick that up. And then I had the question of, do I want to play this Yone? And I was like, I have a 2-star Zyra, which is really good, but Yone does fit the board a lot better. So I will go ahead and sell that. And that way I can put the Infinity Edge on the Yone. So Yone's, and then I can make another item here. And I was like, what do I want to make here? I was like, you know what? Let's put this on the Gwen. And let's go ahead and see if we can make something out of these items. I think I was holding that belt on the bench so that it wouldn't reroll. I was hoping to make like a Morello's or something because that's a good Gwen item. But anyway, I did hit the 2-star Samira, and Yone is going to put Edgelord trait in place that gives some additional damage and some additional what's it called? Some additional Omnivamp to the Samira, so she'll heal even more. I decided to make the Gnasher's Tooth. It's not like Gwen's best item, but it's not a bad item on her either. So she has some pretty solid stuff. All right, as far as the gift round, I was hoping to hit Gwen here. I did not hit Gwen, but I'll hold the TF in case we get another gift round. And it's not sure that the lobby's going to last that long, but we'll hold it. There is Gwen 2-star. Now I'm just looking for the set and another Yone. There's the set. So I've pretty much capped out my board at this point in time. I could take one more Yone. Other than that, my board is basically done at this point. I have a pretty cracked board. Remember, it is only 5-3. We are not at the end of stage 6. This is only 5-3. Now, it is a triple prismatic lobby, so there's a ridiculous amount of econ in this lobby as compared to a normal lobby. But like, I have 2-star Samira, I have 2-star Set, I have 2-star Braum, I have 2-star Gwen, and I have 2 out of 3 Yones over there on my board. That was a lot of damage over there, and Headwinder's board has gotten to be quite strong as well. He's just looking for 2 more Shens and then some more TFs. So how many players are we down? Are we down to just 2 other players in the lobby? Looks like we're going to have another carousel here, so I'm looking for another item for Yone. I think the Hand of Justice would probably be the best option here. Again, I do have Pandora's items, so these can reroll if need be, but it's not super important. Okay, that gets grabbed by somebody else. So out of the options I can take, I think I just take the Giant Slayer, even though it's not a great Yone item because it's better than any of the other alternatives. And it looks like there's only 1 or 2 more rounds left in the game. So there's not much point in trying to let items sit on the bench and try to reroll into something better via Pandora's items. I'm pretty content with what I've got here. So can we hit the last Yone? I think that Headwinder's holding one for me. But that's about the only thing I have left to roll for. Or I could look to go to level 10, I guess. But I don't think the game's going to last that long. I also decided I'm going to move the power up from Set to Gwen. I have a 2-star Gwen. That's probably better than putting it on Set. So I was like, I'm going to take the extra attack speed. We'll take the 50% extra attack speed. And now Gwen's going to be like a super carry in her own right. Gwen's ability is she tosses out these like threads across the board. And every third cast, the threads deal additional damage. But you'll see like these lines, which are supposed to be threads going across the board. I mean, she basically just dashes around snipping people. deals magic damage. Yeah, you can see every third cast, the threads deal additional damage. She was like super overtuned on the PvE. And yeah, like it didn't even seem like she did that much, but she did 5,000 damage in like 15 seconds there. So yeah, we're going to win that round. And we knocked that team out. And I think that that's it. We get the top 4 message, but that's it. The lobby's already over. And we just completely ran over this lobby. Again, not surprising. It was the first day of the set. Both Headwinder and I had spent a good deal of time playing on the PvE. So we had a lot more practice, I think, than some of these other players did. But still, both of us played teams that came together really, really nicely. And I think our teamwork was excellent throughout this game in terms of sending stuff back and forth. So kudos to you, Headwinder. Thanks for joining me. All right, in any case, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you enjoyed this stomp as we ran over an early lobby. Until next time, take care, folks, and I'll see you again soon.